Hey everybody, welcome to a bonus episode of the Craft Parenting Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Joe Ludwig, and with me is my lovely wife and co-host, Caroline. How's it going, Caroline?
If we're going to be recording more of these bonus episodes, I'm going to need the kids to go to bed a lot quicker because they were a bit much the last 2 days.
I feel like this entire week has been a bit much, so
Yeah.
there's that. So a bonus episode, we don't really have a set structure. We're just going to kind of talk, and we have quite a few beers in front of us, and there's kind of a running theme between all these beers.
Yeah, and originally we were going to do this on like a Tuesday night, and I was like, I cannot drink all of these beers on a Tuesday night and still go to work and be productive the next morning because they're all so delicious that I have to finish them, and they're moderate to high ABV. Though you might have drank the one that had the highest ABV without me.
No.
Okay.
Which one?
Sweet Baby Java.
No, it's only 7.
Okay. But what are we drinking right now?
So we are drinking Wake Me Up. It is a hazelnut coffee milk stout, and all these beers are coffee beers. I don't know if I said that before.
I don't remember. The kids were up at like 6:30 this morning because the dogs woke up the kids. Well, the dogs woke up Elliot, and then Elliot woke up Lily.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I know that Zoe walked into Elliot's room. But
she was like, wake up, it's time to feed me.
Well, they need to get their nails trimmed, and we don't have carpet.
Yeah, we need to.
So their nails were click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack.
Yeah, poor Clara. I need to trim her nails tomorrow. No ifs, ands, or buts. We're going to do it, girlfriend.
But in episode 60, we talked about some local coffee shops. It's part 2. I think we did a part 1. I think it was episode 4.
It was very early in our catalog.
Yes. If you want to learn all about where we hang out to go get local coffee, listen to episode 4 and episode 60.
There's a lot of places that we go.
There's a lot of good places around Cincinnati that we go to, which is exciting and awesome. I love supporting local businesses.
Oh, I do too.
So let's talk about this beer. This is, again, Wake Me Up. It's a hazelnut coffee milk stout. It's by Wiedeman's Fine Beer over in St. Bernard, Ohio. This is kind of unusual because coffee beers, at least the ones that I've had, are typically not milk stouts.
I mean, they're typically stouts or porters. And now people are starting to get more creative because, well, everybody has a coffee stout. What can I do to up it to make people want to drink my coffee stout?
Well, this is kind of unusual because a milk stout is by definition sweet.
Well, but what do most people put in their coffee?
Milk.
Yeah, because they're pansies. Shots fired.
Oh, man.
The only way I drink coffee is black, unless it's espresso, in which case it's with tons of milk and sugar.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, because coffee beer is traditionally, well, it's typically a stout or a porter, but now you're seeing more like
Coffee blondes.
Yeah, coffee blondes. There's a few coffee IPAs.
There are?
Yeah, which I'm like, okay, but that's some competing flavors. I mean, if you get the right hops, I can see it working.
Well, coffee is typically very bitter. And stouts are usually, very dark and heavy and roasty.
Yeah. I mean,
so the coffee and the roasty typically go together. I can't see a coffee IPA going well. But
people make it.
I haven't tried it. Does anyone local make that?
I don't know.
I've never heard of a coffee IPA. But you did some research. You have a computer in front of you.
Brewdog has a Hellcat IPA, which is coming up as came up in my coffee beer search. But it doesn't say anything about coffee in it, so they must have some kind of... Oh, and really it's an IPL, because it's an India Pale Lager. Doesn't mention anything about coffee, so why did it pop up in my search? I do not know. But Stone Brewing has a coffee IPA where the name is Coffee IPA.
Very original.
So original. Or maybe they just have more. Modern Times / Stone Wizards and Gargoyles Hazy Coffee IPA. So Stone's got something. I mean, Stone has lots of stuff, though. Typically, people pair them with dessert stuff because coffee and dessert go together. There's a Oh my goodness, who is it that has it? There's an avocado. Oscar Blues has Death by Affogato. Affogato? So affogato is the Italian dessert where it's vanilla ice cream with a shot of espresso on top.
Oh, okay.
Because you should always end your night with a shot of espresso because sleep is for the weak.
I mean, if you're Italian, you drink espresso all the time.
This is true. So you probably have some kind of immunity to it.
I don't know. I'm not Italian, so I don't know.
But a lot of people do some kind of variation on breakfast beer with a coffee. Because like Dogfish Head has their beer for breakfast stout and Founders has their breakfast stout. Neither of which are we drinking today.
No.
None of the beers that I'm mentioning so far, other than the Wiedemann beers, are beers that we're drinking today. But they're ones that are more nationally available. We're drinking more locally things.
So we had the week from hell, so it seemed like at least.
What is sleep and why do I need it? Because my brain tells me that I need it, but I have not been able to get it this week.
So last week was Mother's Day weekend. We had a wedding to go to in Lexington, Kentucky.
Which was a lot of fun, and we had a blast.
Yeah, no kids allowed, which were like, hell yeah.
Woohoo! Party! Joe was the best Uber driver ever.
So anyway, we went to Lexington, Kentucky for a wedding. We have an entire bonus episode dedicated to
hanging out in Lexington, Kentucky.
In our hotel room, yeah.
And pre-gaming a wedding that we did not need to pre-game.
Yeah, we definitely did not need to pre-game that wedding. And as he said, I was the responsible one and brought you and 10 of your closest friends home.
I mean...
Because you were like, Joe can drive.
When you have the ability to seat 7 adults mildly comfy in your van, and you know at least 4 other people that are going to the same hotel, why do they need to Uber when you can just throw them in the back of your van?
I mean...
Also, I am a very generous person, and sometimes that means that I'm generous with other people who are doing the work. I helped you take all the car seats out of the van. That was hard because we forgot that we had a double stroller in the back of the van.
Yes. You were offering spots that we didn't necessarily have. But
it all worked out in the end.
It all worked out. We had a fun drunk conversation. I wasn't drunk, but everyone else was, essentially. So that was our Saturday. And then on Sunday was, of course, Mother's Day.
Yep, the plan was for brunch, but there was no plan
reserved
for brunch.
There wasn't even a plot.
There was no plot reserved for brunch either. So I'm trying to find places to go at 10 a.m. on Mother's Day. And oh, hey, everybody's packed and has a wait. And oh, we have 8 people? What? Meanwhile, I'm getting text messages from my mother. Hey, Elliot feels a little warm. Where's your thermometer? Okay, well, here should be where the good thermometer is. Well, he's checking in at 99.5. Okay, I'm not too worried about that yet because that's just like elevated temperature. But yeah, keep an eye on him, pump some liquids in him, try to give him some cool things. We're trying to figure out brunch. It's not going well. Oh, hey, his temperature's like 99.8. Okay, we're heading to Cincinnati. You guys are on your own for brunch. It'll be easier to get reservations to get a seat with less people, but we're peacing out now. Have fun.
Yeah. Lexington is about, 90 minutes away?
About, yeah.
So it wasn't too far of a drive. I didn't realize it was that high. 99.8, you said? 99.8?
Which is still just like elevated.
I don't know. You were telling me 99. I think that's what you told me. So we went home, and by the time we got home, his fever actually...
It was like 101.
Yeah, it actually became a fever.
And so we're like, okay, we've played the fever game before. Pump him full of meds, and then keep an eye on him.
Rotate children's Motrin and...
Children's Tylenol. Every 3 hours.
Yeah.
And, oh, hey, he's not taking any of this medicine with any of the tools that we have available to us. This is great. Let's open another beer.
Okay, so...
We got 4 beers.
Oh, I do have 4 beers. Okay, so the next beer, we will come back to that story. Oh, boy.
Oh, geez. Save the beer.
think you got the most.
It's looking like. So why are you pouring the more little schluck into mine?
Okay. So this is... So speaking of Lexington, we visited West Six Brewing in Lexington, Kentucky. And it was Derby Day when we visited.
Yeah, because it's super easy to find things when it's Derby Day in the middle of horse country.
Yeah, so they had a special. You could get a case of beer. So that's 24 beers, I think. So 4 6-packs. Right? 4 6-pack, yeah.
Yes.
I guess there are some 4-packs too.
There were some 4-packs, but nothing that we were as interested in as the 6-packs.
All right, so this is Magic Beans. It's called Magic Beans Coffee Stout. 7.2% alcohol. And I don't see any ABVs in this. The Wake Me Up by Wiedemann, I don't know if I said this, it's 6.5 ABV, 20 IBUs. So we get home. Elliot has a fever.
He won't take meds.
No, we forced him to take meds the first time.
We got him to get like a half a dose.
But he fought it pretty hard.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Lily is like, I take meds now? I get meds? Lily meds? Like basically begging for us to give her children's Tylenol. Because she's like, it's so yummy. I would like more, please. And our children being almost opposites. Yeah. Elliot's fighting us the whole time.
I don't know why he's fighting it so much. Maybe because we gave it to so much during COVID.
I don't think that he likes super sweet things. Like he likes some chocolate. He likes the cream from Oreos, but he doesn't like the Oreo cookies. And he doesn't go for super sweet options if you give him the choice. So I just think that he's not as into sweets as Lily is, which is fine. He's got to figure out what motivates him whenever we have to go around potty training him. Maybe he'll be motivated by carrot sticks. I don't know. But yeah, he's not really into dessert items. And I know children's medicine is pretty sweet, but it still has that tart. So they're trying to mask the yuckiness of the medicine. There's only so much you can do.
I don't know. But so the first time he took the meds, at least partially, and he took a nap.
And they seemed to mildly help his fever. And we gave him a bath after he woke up from his nap. That helped.
It was before.
Oh, before his nap.
Because your mom was there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was the first thing I did was I give him a bath.
Yeah. So we kept trying to give him meds. He kept saying no. So I called the doctor's office because his temperature is like 103.5. And I'm like, hey, I know this isn't great. I'm not able to get meds inside of him. What should I do? And they're like, well, try these other meds. Or just keep trying to force the same meds down his throat and see what you can get going. Sometimes you have to feed it to him a milliliter at a time. And it's hard when he's taking almost 6 milliliters medicine. So we're debating which one of us is going to go to the store while we're watching an episode of Scooby-Doo because that'll keep both the kids calm. And I'm like taking clothes off of Elliot because he was only in like a t-shirt and like a cotton t-shirt and cotton pants. Like everything was super light. But I'm like, I'm taking off your shirt. Maybe I'll go dig through and try to find you some shorts, but you're probably finding these pants. And about 10 minutes later, I notice he's way warmer than he was before. So I take his temperature again, and it's 104.5. And I'm like, okay, this is no bueno.
I don't remember you telling me 104.5.
I was 104 something. Like it went up almost a degree. It went up a degree or almost a degree in the span of like 10 or 15 minutes. So I called the doctor's office again, and I'm like, hey, this is getting to be more of a rodeo than we thought it was going to be. What do you want us to do? And they're like, well, you can go to the store and try to get different meds into him and see if those help in 2 hours. Or you can take him to urgent care.
I think at this point it was 9 o'clock.
It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And they're like, well, and if the meds don't help, you're going to have to take him into urgent care. So I was like, well, if I'm going to have to spend the night at urgent care anyway, I would rather start my night at urgent care at like 9 and get out at midnight versus start my night at urgent care at like 11 or 12 and not get out until like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I just load him up into the car, realize as I'm driving to children like 10 things that I probably should have grabbed, but didn't super need, so it was fine on my way to the hospital because we're going to Children's downtown because that's the only urgent care that's open near us for meds, like for small children.
So meanwhile, I was at home with Lily. I had to put her to bed.
Mm-hmm. Well, because we're not going to take Lily to Children's if we don't have to. And like there were some siblings there, but most of the time it was just the kid that was actually sick.
Yeah, that would have been a disaster.
So much of a disaster. It was a disaster just with one kid. So I tell the nurse on call that I'm taking the kid to Children's. And she says, okay, I'll let him know you're coming. Which I think kind of like semi puts you in line. I don't know. Hopefully it helps. I mean, I think it starts to check like the registration process for you. So you don't have to like fill out as much paperwork, which is nice.
Yeah.
So we get there. I check in, sit down because I know we're going to be there for a hot second because he's not like bleeding, broken, or like having some kind of serious medical condition.
It was pretty serious.
It was pretty serious.
His feet
he
were
had
purple.
Well, I'm getting there. So his fever was still pretty high. I attempted to give him meds before we left, like before the first time I had called the doctor's office, and he had maybe taken a milliliter. Like he had barely taken any meds. And like the first nurse that I talked to said, well, if you try to give him meds, you can't give him meds for another 4 hours because they don't want you to overdose your kid, which I get. Which was another thing that was just super frustrating. Because I'm like, you're not taking these meds, but I still have to use at least something pretty close to the windows of like, oh, you have to wait every 3 hours. Because if you switch, it's whatever is half of the longest window. So not medical advice. We are not doctors. But so like Children's Tylenol is every 4 hours. And Children's Motrin is like every 6 to 8. So if you rotate the meds every 3 hours, you're getting that 6 to 8 hour window for the Motrin, and then it turns into like a 6 hour window for the Tylenol. But your kid is always on some kind of medicine.
Let's talk about this beer, though.
It's really good. Do you want some more?
So Magic Beans. This is a pretty straightforward coffee stout. It's actually a lot more, kind of the opposite of what we just drank.
Yeah, it's a little bitter. I'm like actually... Like sometimes when you're drinking coffee, it feels a little grainy. This feels a little grainy. Or I'm just really dehydrated because it's allergy season and I'm not drinking water every 2 seconds.
No, it kind of does feel like kind of grainy. So, yeah, just very straightforward. Kind of really bitter. Kind of a jolt between, drinking the sweet hazelnut coffee milk stout versus this. Is our next one sweet? Is it not sweet? We'll get there when we get there. I mean, it's good. I like it. It's just, it is a little jarring going from the sweet to the not as sweet. Yeah, I drank a pint of this when we were at the brewery. So it was fine by itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how different coffee stouts can be.
Oh, for sure.
This is just a straightforward coffee stout. The one we had previously from Wiedemann, that was hazelnut. And like we said, it was a milk stout, so it was sweet. So not a very clean transition, but it's just, and we have 2 more too.
Well, we're going in ABV order, which is one of the ways that you can decide what you're drinking.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to the story. Elliot is checked in. I have a sticker. He has a little ankle bracelet saying he is officially in their system. If we leave, there's going to be problems. Not like there's an alarm on the bracelet, but like somebody might be coming after me if like I attempted to check him into urgent care and then just peace out because he's a minor and they'd be very worried. They would be very worried about him. So we're sitting. He's doing really good so far. I mean, part of it is just he's so out of it. And
he has a hard bedtime.
He has a hard bedtime of 8 o'clock. I thought for sure he was going to fall asleep in the van on the way to the hospital, and he did not. And so then I was just like, okay, you're going to fall asleep in this brightly lit waiting room? Probably not, but maybe. So we're just chilling because I haven't had to pull any tricks out yet. And I look down and his feet are bright purple, like almost like a purple grape purple. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on? So I walk up to the check-in desk and I'm like, hey. And I look down and Elliot's feet are like 2 shades purple darker than usual. And I'm like, you know what? My kid's going to make me look like I'm crazy. But his feet, I swear, were just bright purple. And fortunately, they had a nurse that sits at the front desk too. And she was like, does he have a fever? And I was like, yeah, and it's pretty high and I haven't been able to get any meds into him. She's like, well, would you mind if I gave him meds? And I was like, no. I will help you strap him down if that's how we have to get meds into him. And she's like, I have lots of tricks. We will get those meds into him. So she takes me back. We put him on the scale to see how much he weighs, and she figures out what his exact dose of children's Motrin should be based on his weight. So basically, I just have to like hold him like a baby so she can shove meds into his mouth via a syringe. Like not like a needle, it doesn't have a needle, it just has like an open tip. So like she holds his mouth open, she shoves the meds in, she waits for him to swallow, she shoves some more meds in.
I think if people know, well, I don't know why they would, but if you are around livestock, that's basically, and you're giving.
Yeah, it's like you're giving livestock medication. It's like when we gave the dogs their deworming medication.
Yeah, that too. If you have dogs, yeah. That's how.
But we didn't have any of those syringes in the house. And now I'm going to find one tomorrow because I'll just be digging around through a drawer and, hey, where did this random syringe come from? Oh, somebody gave it to us forever ago, and I forgot that we had it.
No, I don't think we ever.
I mean, I don't remember having any, but that's the way our life usually goes.
I didn't even know that was an option, like to syringe. They have like an open cup, and then they have
They have like a little bottle cup.
Yeah.
And then they have the little like tube with a spoon, which I remember getting medicine on the tube with a spoon for the longest of times.
Yeah.
The cup wasn't even an option.
Well, sometimes it does come with a cup, but I think the tube with the spoon is longer. Like you can hold more medicine in it.
But yeah, it's still based on size of the tube. So we get meds into Elliot and they send us back out to the waiting room. And we had been at Children's for all of maybe 10 minutes at this point. And then it was another like 45 minutes in the waiting room trying to keep Elliot entertained / happy-ish / not a hot mess of crying. Because all that boy wanted to do was run around.
He didn't have shoes or socks on.
No, I did not grab him shoes or socks. I had extra pairs of clothes in his bag. Like I grabbed like 2 outfits, 2 pairs of shorts and 2 shirts. I don't even know if they matched. I think I just said, here's 2 pairs of shorts that seem light. Here's 2 shirts that seem light. If I need to change your outfit, I can. Ooh, spicy. Like I'm getting a bunch of spices. Maybe I'm crazy. We just cracked a new beer. This is 50 West's Coffee Please Stout, which is 8% ABV. It's the most polite beer you can ask for. A rich coffee stout with a smooth finish. So this is also just like a plain, not like a plain Jane, but like just a straight up coffee stout. Doesn't have a ton of stuff added into it.
It's not very bitter though.
It's not.
It's not like the Magic Beans is.
Yeah, and like a lot of it's going to depend on how you roast and how much you put in and
what's the roast like. Yeah.
What your brewing method is for your coffee.
We haven't, I mean, we homebrew, but we haven't like explored adjuncts.
We did a few times.
Not like coffee or anything like that. So I would imagine there's different techniques. Like you can just put in like probably grinded coffee in the with the beer, or maybe you can put the beans, whole beans. Maybe, I don't know. I would imagine there are different techniques.
Oh, for sure. And like depending upon when you add the coffee into your beer.
Yeah.
So are you adding it when you add in your malts? Are you adding it in with your hops? Or are you adding it in the fermenter? And then what kind of coffee? Oh, hey, the power went out.
Everyone okay?
Yep. Lily's noise machine didn't turn back on though. So we'll have to decide if we're going to let her go or somebody's going to try to sneak in there and turn it back on. I say we just let her go. That got dark.
Well, good thing we are not connected to the outlet. We are connected via a battery pack.
This is very, very true. So, yes. Fuck.
Well,
do we call it and go upstairs?
I think so. Yeah. I guess long story short.
So long story short, Elliot's okay. Joe was eventually able to join me at Children's because my mom was awesome. And even though she'd watched the kids the night before, came back to our house to spend the night at our house again. We had a method of getting medicine inside of Elliot, which was very helpful. And he's totally fine now. So the sickness that he had is a fever for 4 days, and then you're okay, pretty much, for the most, well, usually.
He's still kind of cranky, so.
He's still a little cranky. Lily doesn't really seem to have gotten sick. We have another beer that maybe we'll crack open. Maybe we won't. At this point, probably not. But the power is out where we are, so we want to be on the same level as the children in case if they start making noise. But yeah, Mother's Day was very interesting, and I have not gotten much sleep this week because I've just been up late all the time.
All the time.
But,
and now we're drinking coffee beer, so.
Yeah, but thank you for joining us. Maybe we'll pick this up again. Probably not, though, because life is crazy and sleeping is hard.
Well, you can follow us at Craft Parenting Podcast on all the social medias.
Apologies for 50 West for not giving the beer its due. It's really good. It's got some spice notes. I don't know why. Probably the malt roast.
I will say, I think Coffee Please by 50 West, I think that was my first coffee beer.
That would probably track.
Like one of my first coffee beers. So it has a special place in my heart for this one, for this beer. I drink it in the brew pub across the street from the production works.
So follow us on all the socials at Craft Parenting Podcast. We have a website. We have Facebook. We have an Instagram.
And we will see you later.
Yep. Peace.